The following show is for entertainment purposes only and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of Empire Media LLC, its subsidiaries, affiliates, sponsors, and advertisers.
Can they hear me? They hear me live out there. Next beat. That ain't the beat I want to.
Those was wood
another
beats
beat,
right
another
there.
beat.
You know?
Nope. Give me another beat. Give me another beat. Nope, that's not it. That's the beat. Turn it up.
Oh, word.
Turn it up. I gotta hear it a little louder. Can you make it louder than my headphones? Turn me up in my headphones. I'm still stuck in the 80s/90s. Lottos, kangaroo boots, natty ghosts, feelers, jumpsuits and troops, Junos, color Levi's, Bugs Bunny sweaters with the rhinestone ring on it. Fighting and making up the next day. Nobody getting shot. Working and hustling to get it, or get got. We had love for the streets, our family, our foes, our friends. Respect for the elderly. Pager/payphone, sneaking into Adams Theater. Watching Crush grooving tougher than leather. Hopping gates out the college park to bank out, cause you don't wanna get caught at mom's crib or at Von's crib. Eating funny dinner with the fam. Church every Sunday, 8 o'clock a.m. And even if I fell asleep in the back row or played sick, no matter what, man, I still had to go 80s.
Welcome to the X-Cast. We're coming at you tonight with the X-Cast webisode number 40 during Lent. 40 days of Lent. 40 shows of the X-Cast. That's all I got. That's the only analogy. It's day 4,745 in the search for Tim Chevelday. I'm your host, Josh. With me, as always, is our producer, Adam, the heart and soul of the EmpireMedia.com. What's up, Adam?
Nothing. What's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
Nothing, man. We just we just saw an article online, and it kind of blew up our rundown for tonight. So we're gonna try to get to all the stuff that was plenty to have in the show tonight, plus throw in a fun article at the end. That's something I don't think we've ever actually talked about on our shows. It's the whole chick teachers nailing students thing. And we don't have to jump into it right now, but if we ever discuss that,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean,
was it a Grouty thing? Did Grouty ever get to that before?
Maybe. I hope that Grouty never got into this, because if we did, then we probably all said things that we would probably regret now. But I don't recall. We definitely never have talked about it on the X-Cast. I don't recall ever talking about it on the Majors Live, actually.
I don't think we have.
Yeah, it might have come up on Grouty, but I mean, that was. I mean, I love the old Grouty. If you guys ever listen to him, for those of you who have been with us for a long time, but I'm sure it was off color if we discussed it on Grouty. not that we're gonna be like legal professionals or super mature about it tonight either. But what's up, man? Real quick. March Madness. You guys didn't get to do your sports show last night.
No, we didn't. It's typical March Madness. I mean, people always talk about upsets and everything, but hey, I mean, how surprised can you be about upsets happening? Upsets happen all the time in March Madness.
It's one and done, and it's college guys. You know.
You know what? You pick your bracket. I mean, in actuality, I think you should pick, a bracket that has most of the top teams making it.
Sure.
I mean, that's the safe way of doing things, because you're not. I mean, as far as the odds go, if you're going to sit here and try to pick out the sleepers or pick out the teams that you think could possibly upset some of these top teams, then more likely you're going to be on the outside looking in when it comes to winning that prize at the end.
And some just seem like good upsets. Like you're not Nostradamus if you pick Rhode Island to get out of the first round. Okay, I mean those are good teams. People always they love to talk about the 12 and the 5. The 12 beat the 5. That's not that weird if you think about it. The dumb way that the NCAA seeds it. The 12 beating the 5 a lot of times isn't really even that much of an upset. The 5 is almost always a team from one of the major conferences that's like a mediocre team from the major conferences. It's your Minnesotas. It's your, and I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about any year. It's your Minnesotas, your Georgias, it's teams from big from big conferences that did okay, that had decent seasons, and the 12 is almost always some sort of champion from a smaller conference.
Yeah, I had a problem too. I mean, the seating was a little weird this year. I thought Duke probably should have been a number 1, but obviously they're
They got out
now.
to such a slow start, though. I
They
think that's
did.
why.
They did, but I always have a problem with ranking Gonzaga so high. For some reason, the NCAA
I agree with
selection
you there,
committee
man.
always has this hard on, it seems like, for Gonzaga every single season. They play in a shit conference, so of course they're always going to have a good record.
Of course. I mean, yeah. Oh, they only lost once. Well, shit, they played Schoolcraft Community College 6 times in a row. I mean, come on.
I hate the love that Gonzaga gets. And you know what? I didn't pick Gonzaga to go to the Final Four. I have them losing to Arizona in I believe it's the Elite Eight. And Gonzaga's benefiting again in the tournament because they got placed in the weakest region. So
I had them losing before that.
do you?
Yeah.
I have them losing to Arizona, and the only reason why I have them getting that far is because of the bracket that they're in. But like I said,
They got to play West Virginia, don't they?
I want to say
Before they even get to Arizona, don't they have to play West Virginia?
Is
Virginia?
Is West Virginia in that region?
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't know if West Virginia was in that region. I have to check the bracket again, but they were very fortunate that they're placed in the
Yeah, they got to
weakest.
play West Virginia before they even get to Arizona. They're not getting past West Virginia.
Okay, maybe that's the case. I don't know.
I actually got Arizona winning the whole thing, and the reason I have that is I got all caught up in this.
Yeah, they play Gonzaga. Yeah, or I'm sorry, West Virginia plays Gonzaga.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, I don't even know that much about Arizona. I got all caught up in this. They're going to basically be at a home game for, the Final Four is in Arizona. So I got all caught up into that. I'm like, I'm just taking Arizona. Whatever. It's all guessing anyway.
Yeah, and the thing too with Arizona is they come from the Pac-12, and there's always a lot of you're the one way or the other when it comes to Pac-12 basketball. I mean, you could either pick them to be a sleeper or you just have zero respect for them whatsoever. And generally speaking, there's not much respect for a lot of teams coming out of the West Coast,
Right.
except for UCLA. I think UCLA is getting a lot of respect this year, and I think they should. I think I have UCLA going to the Elite Eight, and then
Am I the only one that still calls it the Great Eight?
probably yeah.
Because remember that was it for a while, and I stuck with it because I just thought Elite Eight sounded so dumb.
I think Grade 8 sounds dumb.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a rebel. What can I say? So who do you got winning it all?
I had Villanova winning
okay.
it all.
Right.
Yeah. But hey, you know what?
Bracket busted.
Bracket busted. I still have 3 of my 4 Final Four teams in there, though. I have Arizona, North Carolina, and Kansas. Also going to the Final Four, and I had Villanova beating North Carolina in the championship game. So, whatever. I'm in first place in my pool still, but I don't know if I'll be able to hold on to it though because of my possible wins left. So we'll see.
Yeah, I had Duke in my Final Four. Other than that, I got the rest. I got Arizona, Kentucky, and Kansas.
No, that's good. It's a solid Final Four.
Right. I mean, but it's kind of a chintzy one too. They're all 1 and 2 seeds basically.
You know what? Like I said though, I mean that's I mean if you're making these picks, that's what you have to go with. I mean I think it's laughable when people have like Xavier or St. Mary's, or they go and they put some obscure Atlantic 10 team in there.
Right.
I mean,
I always just when I'm like scouring through looking at everyone's brackets when I don't know all the people in a thing, I just always assume they went there or something.
Yeah. I know Sean, who's on the majors live, he picked Michigan to go to the Final Four, and I know partly he did it because he's a big fan of the Wolverines.
Right.
But, it's looking better each round. I mean, Michigan.
No, my dad did too. Because I mean, people are slappies. They just want, and you know what? Part of me gets it too. You just want to be able to root for your team.
Absolutely.
So you just do it. And hey, Michigan wasn't a terrible one considering how hot they came off the Big Ten tournament.
No, you know what? Michigan right now, when it comes to the Wolverines, the Wolverines aren't this good.
No,
They're not. But you know what? They're playing with on an incredible high right now
Oh yeah.
with tons of adrenaline going, after just the shit that they went through on their way to the Big Ten tournament. Look, Michigan is the toughest fucking team in the country right now.
Oh, absolutely.
No
man.
doubt about it. Look, when you get into a plane crash and then go on a tear through the Big Ten tournament and then the NCAA tournament, look, you got to have mad respect for that group.
And they didn't exactly get an easy road in the NCAA tournament.
They got.
It's not like they were like, oh, they had this great show, we're gonna make them a 4 seed. No, they didn't do that at all. Actually, they still had a pretty tough go with this. So
No, they got boned when it came to the selection. When they came to the selection process, them and Minnesota got screwed.
oh yeah,
I mean, and then you see Maryland and Minnesota get a 5 and a 6. Maryland was awful the final stretch of the season.
Yeah,
I have
were.
no idea why they got I can't remember if it was a 5 or 6. It doesn't matter though. And then Minnesota was okay in the Big Ten tournament, but again, you have Wisconsin and Michigan down at the bottom, and then Purdue even at number 4. I don't understand that.
Yeah, they obviously didn't watch the Big Ten tournament.
No, the selection committee definitely
They
didn't
obviously
watch
had their mind made up beforehand, and that's
Yeah.
cool. I get it. I'm not saying they should bank it all on that, but obviously they didn't pay much attention to that tournament. Speaking of getting boned to Northwestern, man.
Oh,
That
I thought we were going to the teacher
Oh
conversation.
no, we can though. We can. Well,
I thought that was your segue.
Let's use that exact same segue in like 45 seconds from now. But no, Northwestern got screwed, man.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know.
So speaking of getting boned, Sarah Madden Folks.
I like how you're like, Northwestern got, but speaking of, yeah, that's a nice.
Well, whatever. You either watch the game or you didn't. You either care or you don't. Yeah, Northwestern did get screwed on that. The guy putting his hand right through the bottom of the basket. True goaltending. But yeah, let's talk about this teacher though. We got this chick, Sarah Madden Folks, 26 years old, Texas high school teacher, teaching anatomy and physiology. So that's kind of cute. That's kind of hot already, right? But and of course the chick's hot. She's pretty as hell, of course, and she's married. Finding a hot 26-year-old who's married is like one thing, but then finding that hot 26-year-old who's married and still wants to bang like a bunch of 17-year-olds, I don't know. They didn't used to make them like this, but what's up, man? I mean, everybody flips out. The big thing is this is huge now. It seems like every 5 or 6 months you hear about some teacher. They're always hot or hot-ish, and they're banging some student. And the big thing is the real discussion with all this is the double standard. You wouldn't feel this way if that was your daughter, right? I mean, but it's not viewed as bad. Although she still, got booked into county over this, so obviously, she's running into some trouble here.
Yeah.
Even though when we just did some brief fly by night internet research 5 seconds before the show started, you said that age of consent in Texas is 17.
Yeah, I googled it. It was just age of consent in Texas is 17. Which I think it was 14 that you can have sex with.
Right.
3 years.
Yeah, which
3
that's
years
usually
older.
what it is. So basically, all that is a 17-year-old can't get statutory rape for having sex with a 16-year-old.
Correct.
In other words, which all that is just them actually having the law be halfway thought out, so you can't nail some 17-year-old for having sex with his 16-year-old girlfriend on his birthday, basically.
Yeah.
Which if that happens and you're the parents and you want to get all pissed about it, well then do that. Go home and beat them or whatever you feel the need to do. but it's the courts are out of it at this point. But I guess the big question is the double standard, right? The big double standard between this. It's different if it's a guy and a girl, and I just whenever I hear that, I'd be like, oh well, what if that was your daughter? Well, I would feel different if it was my daughter. I mean, as somebody that I have sons and I have daughters, and it's different. I mean, it's different. I'm not saying like I would even be like the dad who, okay, you found out that your 17-year-old son just had sex with his 26-year-old teacher. I'm not gonna like go give him a high five. That's like the that's like the thing. Like oh what's up high man, what's up? You tagged that right on, bro. All right, give me some. No, I'm not saying that. You talk to your kid. You know that's not good. Your 17-year-old son shouldn't be hooking up with his 26-year-old teacher. You want to make sure that it was all on the up and up, or not on the up and up, but that he wasn't pressured or something. But chances are the kid's gonna be like, "No, Dad, she was hot. I was, I just kind of wanted to do it, But it is different if it's your daughter. I mean, I guess the difference to me is, yeah, if I find out my son was involved in this, I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna say, "Hey, what are you doing with your life? Let's work this out." If I find out that it's my daughter, I'm gonna be messing somebody up. Be driving down to the school and braining somebody. Some creepy 26-year-old teacher or 46-year-old teacher hooking up with my daughter to try to, get her an A or something. No, screw that. It is different. It's different.
What about? I mean, you're talking about what are you doing with your life with your son? I mean, obviously she has a good job. She's maybe she'd be like a sugar mama for him,
Right.
And
I'd
help him get through college, and
exactly. I don't.
Is that,
It could be, man.
are those the questions you're asking your son?
No, it's more like, come on, dude, what are you doing? Just use your head. Use your other brain. Use your other brain is the conversation I'm going to be having with my son. But the conversation we have with my daughter is, are you okay? What's going on? And then I'm going to beat the crap out of somebody. That's just, it's different. It is different.
So there isn't a double standard.
Right. Yeah, I guess that is what I'm saying is the idea, it's not a double standard because it's not the same standard. It's different. So it isn't a double standard. Because a double standard would be saying, I'm pissed at somebody else's 17-year-old son for hooking up with his 26-year-old teacher, but I'm not pissed at my own 17-year-old son for hooking up with his 26-year-old teacher.
So would it be a double standard then? Say if it was a 12-year-old girl having sex with a 26-year-old guy,
Very different.
And a 26-year-old girl teacher, female teacher, having sex with a 12-year-old boy.
Yes, if you're talking 12-year-olds,
is that the same standard?
It's closer. It's similar. It's a lot more similar for sure. I mean, truth is, and somebody who is teaching anatomy and physiology would definitely know this. Can men be raped? Well, yeah, in certain ways, men and males. When I say men, I mean males of post-pubescent males. They can be raped in other ways, in prison and things like that, but having regular sex when you are a 17, you kind of have to be a willing participant, do you not? We all know what I'm talking about here. There isn't, you have to be a willing participant. You have to be into it. You do. Everybody knows how this works. If they don't, well, maybe he was finding out in sex ed from his Texas teacher. But I don't get it. It's bad. I think she should lose her job.
Oh, absolutely. Me too.
Look, I think she should get shit canned immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not going to find an argument out of me regarding her keeping her job.
Yeah, it's unprofessional. It's wrong.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? In this case, though, you
get yourself canned. Go work at a community college and bang the hell out of all the 18-year-olds you want.
Look, I've Josh from our days working together on the Majors Live, and you know me, I've been very, very outspoken against a guy like Jerry Sandusky and everything that happened at Penn State and just pedophilia in general. I hesitate to call this. I mean, looking at it from the standpoint I am right now, without divulging myself too much into what actually happened, the only thing I'm seeing.
Are you about to reveal that you had sex with one of your teachers in high school?
No.
Oh, okay. Damn, that'd have been good radio.
I'm just looking at it as a 26-year-old teacher and a 17-year-old student, and like I said, this is wrong. from the standpoint of it's unprofessional, and yes, she should absolutely lose her job. Is she a pedophile, though?
She's not.
I'm gonna hesitate.
Scientifically, she's not.
I'm hesitating to call her a pedophile.
Well, I mean, but truth is, too, Adam, I mean, by the dictionary definition of the word, by the scientific definition of the word, she's not a pedophile. I have zero tolerance.
I don't have a dictionary.
I can tell you.
Go ahead. Tell
I
me.
can. This isn't quoted from Webster's directly.
I have two computers in front of me, and I'm not going to look it up. So
but
go
you're
ahead.
just you're gonna go.
I'm going to go with you.
You're gonna go with my comments as gospel. No, but this is wrong, and it's statutory rape.
Okay.
I have zero tolerance for pedophiles of either sex.
This isn't
zero-
statutory rape.
This could be statutory rape depending on your state. It could be
But Texas is this.
it isn't even statutory rape there. In Texas, it's actually just I believe there's a law, again from the quick research we did. I believe there's a law stating that a teacher can't have sex with a student.
Now you read the entire article.
I did.
Did it say that did it say that he was 17 when he had sex with?
It
or
did
was he
not
younger?
say either way.
Okay.
Because if it was 16, it would be statutory rape by Texas law. If it was if he was 17, although this goes away when he's 18, if he was 17, it would still be illegal for a teacher employed by the state.
You know what?
To have sex with that person.
Even if he was 18, I still think she should have lost her job.
Right. Me too. No,
I mean,
me too. Even if he was a flunky and he was 20, it's
a conflict of interest.
Yeah, she should get canned for sure. Definitely.
Much like how our president is right now, the huge conflict of interest.
We can get into Trump in a minute too, but no, I mean truly though, Adam, a pedophile is somebody. I mean, that's where the term statutory rape comes from, because it's supposed to show that actually by someone being guilty of statutory rape, they are by definition not committing pedophilia.
Okay.
Maybe they're a pedophile too. I don't know.
So it's a pedophile.
A pedophile is someone who is having sex or wanting to have sex with a prepubescent person.
Okay.
So you are not even a pedophile if, and this is the last thing on earth I'm doing is condoning this, but if you are trying to have sex with a 14 or 15-year-old person who is definitely past puberty, who is definitely sexually mature, you're not a pedophile. That's not a pedophile. That's that is regular sex. It's wrong by our cultural standards.
You're right.
Not in all cultures, but that is not what a pedophile is. A pedophile is somebody that is is you are postpubescent, the victim is prepubescent. That is a pedophile. It is also not a pedophile if, say, for instance, a 9-year-old boy is doing something bad to a 3-year-old. That is a troubled kid. It's bad. There's other psychological issues there that are very, very serious, but that's not a pedophile. Mm-hmm. You're not a pedophile there. You're both prepubescent. So it has to be now you can be a pedophile and not be of legal statutory age, because you can be 15 with a 5-year-old. You're a pedophile at this point, but your urges are adult, and in the natural course of action should not be geared towards that person. So that
Jerry Sandusky was a pedophile.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But that's the thing. Sandusky wouldn't have been a pedophile had he just been, which there are accusations of this, by the way, had he just been trying to go for the young guys coming right in college. The 17, 18-year-old high school kids trying to get into college. But that's not all Sandusky did.
They're already too old for him.
Right. Sandusky had, that's why he had all these different, it's why he adopted a bunch of kids. It's why he had all these different programs for kids, supposedly teaching them, football young, but football wasn't really well he was teaching them. So Sandusky is absolutely a pedophile. And he's a predator and a rapist. Aside from that.
Absolutely.
So that's, he is all those things rolled into one. He's a statutory rapist, an actual rapist, and a pedophile.
He covers it all.
Right. Yeah. And now wait, Sandusky? No, he's not dead, right? He's just in jail.
Paterno's jet.
Yes, Paterno is dead. Paterno is not a pedophile, contrary to what some people think. He was a jerk.
He's just an enabler.
Yeah, I mean, he was sticking his head in the sand for years because he was cool with the fact that his pedophile happened to be a decent offensive coordinator. So
defensive.
Oh, defensive? I thought he was an offensive
He's
coordinator.
Former linebackers.
All right, whatever. He was a pedophile. Screw him.
Exactly.
But but back to hot teachers. No, but I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Am I so politically incorrect and just not in the modern way of thinking to even dare to say that your daughters and your sons are different? I mean, am I just that, you're supposed to protect your daughters? I'm sorry.
There's always been that. And look, you're a conservative person, Josh. So I get where you're coming from with that. And I certainly agree with you when in the thinking that she should lose her job. I mean, completely agree 100% with you there. I see where you're coming from in all standpoints here.
Where a male teacher doing that should lose his job and have his nuts kicked in by me. I mean, that's... I mean, I'm sorry, but women need to be protected from male predators in our society, whether it's young women or older women, and mature women.
Sure.
Women of age need to be protected from rapists and predators in our society. That is true. Men, not so much. Not so much.
Look,
it is true. I know you can throw out the stat. If Eddie from our Deep Issues cast was on right now, he would say, statistically, more men are raped than women.
Is that what he would say?
That is probably what he would say. He would bring out that stat. That stat is true because of prison.
Really?
Because of prison.
Oh, okay.
I mean, take out prison, and it's not even close. But because of prison.
So it's a bit of a misleading fact. Kinda. It's a skewed fact.
It is because of a genuine circumstance.
Yes.
A fact nonetheless, but there is a circumstance.
More men are raped than women, but it's by other men.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the men raped is by other men also.
Because if you hear that without having any context to it, you're going to assume that, oh wow, more women rape men.
Yeah, no.
Than men rape women.
No. Women are not rapists. I mean, it's nearly impossible. I mean, really, it's nearly impossible. Biologically, it's really not possible for women to rape men, but men rape men, and men rape women.
And women rape women. Right?
They can. Yeah, they can. Yes. Yeah, I imagine typically when women are the rapist, the rapee is probably another woman.
I mean, when that would happen in prison, right? Women's prison.
Probably. I don't know. I'm not gonna make up stats. That would be fake news. I'm not gonna throw out fake news on the XCast, because here in the XCast we are not fake news. No. We are real news, or at least real entertainment.
We are not Breitbart. So.
Oh, that's me. I don't even like Breitbart, but Breitbart's not fake
We're not
news.
Pamela Geller, so.
Yeah, I don't mind Pamela Geller. No, yeah, maybe I do. Maybe I do. But it is true though. I mean that men are raped. It's kind of the old adage that you say, "Oh, are you insinuating that?" I've heard psychologists say this. Are you insinuating that every man who has sex with another man is gay? And I instantly, when I hear that question, I say, "Yeah." Yeah, pretty much. Isn't that kind of the definition? It's like, so every man in prison is gay? Okay, all right, I get it. So you're referring, but those, yeah, you're not gay if you were raped by another man. Well, at least you weren't before that. Well, hopefully you're not. I don't know. That might have been too much. I don't know. I'm not trying.
I knew something else was going to come out of that.
I knew there's no way you can cover this subject without like saying the wrong thing, unless you're the type of person that just doesn't ever joke about anything, and that's so not me. I have to.
That is true.
I have to like make some sort of crack about it. So I apologize to all the dudes who were raped in prison listening to our show, because that would suck. It would suck.
I didn't know they had access to Facebook in prison.
Maybe they're out now.
It could be, yeah.
Maybe they're out now, but they probably do have access to Facebook in prison.
Maybe like a lower security.
If you had access to Facebook in prison, you'd probably listen to this show. I'm guessing. I don't know that for sure, but I think you probably would. Maybe not. So you want to talk about Trump?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's talk about Donald Trump. I know you're not happy with him right now. The thing I wanted to say,
I think most of the country's not happy with him
right?
now.
37% approval rating is what they're throwing down for Donald Trump right now. Does that matter? The 37% approval rating, does that matter? Do people believe it? Is it junk? Is it fake news?
I don't think it's fake news. Look,
No, I'm just kidding. It's not.
People are always talking about polls and everything when it comes to, they're like, oh well, look at the polls when the election came around. Everybody was saying that Hillary Clinton was going to win. Well, you know what? I mean, Hillary Clinton did win the popular vote. So in essence, the polls weren't completely wrong. It was just a circumstance that happened that has only happened how many times in
the polls were wrong though.
In a sense they were, but also in a sense they were right.
I mean, Hillary won the United States of California.
But she won the popular vote.
She did because of California.
She won the popular vote. And that's generally what the polls are based off of. They're based off of a popular vote.
But they did do polls since 2000 especially. They have focused their polls more on state to state, and actually tried to look at the electoral college, which is the only thing that matters.
Okay, some polls are right, some polls are wrong.
Right, you're right.
In this sense, when you have a disparity that is where is he at again? 37%.
37% is the latest.
Okay, if there's a margin of error in that, whether it's like 4 points or something, it's still going to be horrible.
Right.
He's still going to have a horrible approval rating. Does it matter now? No, it doesn't, because you know what? He's still within his first 100 days. Last I checked, he still has another 3 and some odd months left to go in his, or 3 years and some odd months left to go in his in his first term. So no, it doesn't matter right now.
No, and honestly, like, are the polls BS? Maybe they might be to some degree. I'm not even denying that the polls might be dumb, but and really the polls are. But I think this is a big deal, but not because he came in at 37%. Because I do think that the numbers are kind of silly. What I think is that sounds so bad that you're polling at 37% for your approval rating. But I feel like right now, with the political climate in our country, when you have a nation that 40% of the people, and I'm going to use low numbers here, 40% of the people on average are going to hate you regardless because they're for the other party. Roughly about 40%, 35 to 45. So we'll say 40% of the people are just hell-bent and in the tank for one of our two political tribes. I don't even like to call them parties anymore. They're tribes is what they are. This is tribal, the way people in our country act about the Republicans and the Democrats. So 40% are going to hate you no matter what. So unless something really crazy is going on, 60% is like the best approval rating you could get in our political climate. Then take another 10 to 20% of the population, And I could fall into this one. I would fall into this more. I try not to because I truly, truly do try to have an open mind, especially in a president's first 100 days. I really do just try to, I'd really try to just go with the mantra of support them when I can, oppose them when I must. When it comes to the president of the United States, he was duly elected. I want to support them if possible. But a good 15 to 20% of the population are going to hate the president no matter who they are, Republican or Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, though, and that's, you know, those are your libertarians, your anarchists, your big time populists or socialists. People are going to hate them no matter what. Those people typically, as evidenced by Gary Johnson crapping the proverbial bed this year, in a year when he was up against two people that a lot of people hated running for the Republicans and Democrats. Most of those, 10 to 20% of those people, they will vote for one of those parties when push comes to shove. So they will vote for them, but pretty much dislike them right off the bat, no matter what. So now you're at 60% that are going to dislike you. And now do some things that are pissing people off right away. Right now, there's Republicans who are going to say no to liking Trump because of the healthcare thing, but they would have said yes 2 weeks ago, and they'll say yes 2 weeks from now. But they don't like him right now because they don't like healthcare, or they don't like socialized medicine, whatever you want to call it. So I just feel like this 37% number, we're almost setting in stone that is going to have to be like the standard bearing number for the unforeseeable future, for our time coming up. And I don't know how to get around that. So I don't think it's a big deal that he is throwing down 37% because I feel like that's going to be the norm. What I feel like is a big deal is that it's the norm that our president is only going to have 37% approval rating. And I feel like, how does a country recover from that? How does a nation possibly recover from this idea that we're so polarized now that a president's just has to be amazing to even break the 45% number? And I just feel like I don't know if you can recover from that. I feel like it's a downward spiral that I don't see how the nation recovers from it. There's a lot of people out there, and they're right. And the people that voted against Donald Trump hate hearing this. A lot of people that voted against Donald Trump. Neither person here voted for Donald Trump. Just, if this is your first time listening to the show, people who listen to the show for a long time know that about Adam and I. We didn't vote for the same person, but neither one of us voted for Donald Trump. A lot of people who didn't vote for him hate hearing this. But what the Trumpkins are saying right now about why Trump got elected, they're right. A lot of people were really sick of it all. They were sick of the bullshit that the liberals were throwing out there. The media is very liberal, and they shove it down your throats. The universities are very liberal, and they shove it down your throats. You hear about this stuff all the time, and people were just effing sick of it. And what did they do? They voted for a guy who's kind of a lunatic. Let's face it. Even if you love Trump, come on. He's kind of a lunatic, right? Come on. You guys, you Trumpkins out there, you know who I'm talking to. You can love him. Maybe you love him. Maybe you just think he's still going to be the man and that he's going to really fix this country. And hey, I honestly, truly hope you're right. But, he's kind of a lunatic. So how much of that is just posturing? I hope a lot of it. I don't know how much of it is posturing and how much of it is legit. But that is why he got in. But the thing is, by doing that, you can't win back the other side.
Especially not the
Yeah.
way he's going right now. The
No, he can't.
guy's still campaigning right now. The
Right.
guy's still holding rallies.
Right. He's bizarro Barack Obama is what he is.
And it's again, if you want to get elected, look, a large base of his support were older voters.
Mhm.
If you want to get elected again in 4 years, you've got to appeal to some younger voters here. You got to appeal to the next generation of voter that's going to be coming up. And what he's doing right now isn't making that appeal. He's still trying to hold his base together, which you don't have to do anymore.
Right.
You have
Same complaint I had about Obama.
you
You
have
heard
to
me
go,
say it for 8
No,
years.
I heard you say it. Yeah, you have to go out and you have to unite the country. That's part of the job of being president.
Right. You're president of everybody now,
Yes,
not just your base.
Exactly.
The thing is, I want to agree with you, Adam. From a political standpoint, I want to agree with what you just said. The only reason I don't is because I said that stuff the entire time he was running for president, and he proved me wrong every single time. He kept proving me wrong. He can't do this without, there's no way he can do this without younger voters. There's no way he can do this without Latinos. There's no way he can do this, but he did it.
He did it, yes.
You know, I mean, he did it, and could he do it again? I have no idea what 3.5 years has in store for us. I have no idea. I don't think anybody has any idea. Obama did the same thing, and I really do feel like Donald Trump is bizarro Barack Obama. And all the people that loved Obama for 8 years, you know, they loved him, and a lot of people hated him. All those people that feel like they were stepped on by a president who pretty much still acted like he was running for president for 8 straight years, a lot like Donald Trump's doing right now, they feel like, oh, now it's our turn. And we are never going to unify as a nation. We are never going to be strong. We're never going to make America great again if that's just the vicious cycle that goes back and forth. Every 4 to 8 years, we take turns hating or liking the president. You know, I mean, some people hate him, some people like him. Back and forth, back and forth. One thing I will say, Barack Obama, if you do want to say anything about Donald Trump's numbers being skewed, this 37%, yeah, media's liberal, all that stuff. I do think the numbers are skewed a little bit. Obama's numbers were usually hovering around 42 to 44%. If there's a little bit of skewing going on, if the polls are a little bogus, you pretty much are making it up right there. Then in that case, 43% for a liberal and 37% for a Republican are probably about the same thing. Maybe, maybe not. You know, I'm just saying, if you buy into that, then they're pretty much the same thing. And again, I make the exact same claims. You know, that you can't ever fix the country if half the people hate them. This isn't like presidents in the 70s and 80s that after 6 years of them being president, their approval ratings, 45, 48. Quite frankly, at that point, people are they're just done with them. They're just ready for the next person at that point, and that's why their numbers are like that. They didn't hate them the way a lot of Republicans hated Barack Obama, and they don't hate him the way a lot of people really hate Donald Trump right now.
I think
people that love him just don't want to hear it. They just don't want to hear it.
No, you're absolutely right about them not wanting to hear it. I see it all the time. I see it and I hear it all the time. I think you've got to add in a lot of factors though into the Trump presidency thus far that is affecting his approval rating. And it's so glaring and it's so out there that I think you have to connect the dots, and you've got to see the smoke, and you've got to smell the smoke, and it's right there in front of your face, people. Look, when people are sitting there talking about Obamacare and repealing and replacing and Obama's legacy and everything, again, I am someone that's on the left. I liked Obamacare. Obamacare has done very good things for my family. But what's funny is you see these Trump supporters, and I will go on to say that a majority of the Trump supporters are on the right, and they're people that did not like Barack Obama. But the thing is, though, is when they're talking about destroying Obama's legacy when it comes to Obamacare, is Obamacare really gone with this new GOP health bill that they're trying to push through? No, because it's still government mandated
Right.
health care.
Right.
And isn't that what Obamacare was?
The
It is?
the number one problem I had with Obamacare is what happens if I don't want it.
And you know what, Josh?
No, and my point is it's the exact same thing with Trump care. The
Exactly.
exact same
You know what?
thing.
And
They defunded Planned Parenthood. Oh, that's cool. Good. They should. Great. Awesome.
I see, and I don't agree with that, but I see where you're coming from when it comes to not liking Obamacare from the standpoint of you having to purchase it, you being forced to purchase it.
Right.
I understand that, but the people out there who are trying to justify this, this new bill that they're trying to push through when they were wholeheartedly against Obama in the Affordable Care
Right.
Act before. I mean, you're a hypocrite.
Right. And that's what we talked about a few weeks ago when we talked about the hypocrisy on the right and the left. Because truth is, the vast majority of people who opposed Obamacare opposed it because it was said by a person with a D behind their name. And the vast majority of people who are against Trump care oppose it because it's said by a guy with an R behind his name. That's it. That's really the reason. And if people out there want to say no, that's not the truth. No, it is the truth. It is the truth. And okay, people say, listen, I'm against socialized medicine regardless. I know that puts me in the minority, but I am. But when people talk about this, they really don't want to acknowledge that they really are only for and against it because of the person's name. I mean, because of the person's political party. That's it. Say, oh, Obamacare did great things for me. 90% of cases, if Obamacare did this great thing for you, Trump care is going to do it for you too. It really is. And by the way, when people know, I hope people know this, people should know this, but when you defund Planned Parenthood doesn't go away, okay? It's still there. That doesn't mean that they killed Planned Parenthood and it's gone, the doors are closed. It has enough money to survive and it shouldn't be supported by the federal government. None of these things should be supported by the federal government. It's unconstitutional. Just like, PBS and NPR and Meals on Wheels and all these things. Some of these are really good things, but if the government gets their filthy little dirty hands out of it, it'll be better. It will be better. You don't need money filtering through the government in order to have these things. You really don't. And if they are worth their salt in anything, then they'll easily be able to sustain it through the government. Now, like a thing with Meals on Wheels, which is a great organization, it hurts it because they've become dependent on it, and now it's gone. But they never should have had it. So do you have to kill it right that second? I don't know that you do, but I guess you gotta. He campaigned on saying we're going to cut some of this stuff, and we are. And it seems like you vote for people who say they're going to cut things, but nobody ever wants their thing cut. Did you notice that? Everyone wants to make cuts, but nobody wants their thing cut.
Sure,
like you're if it's your pork, then it's not pork.
Again, I'm all for going through and making cuts into the budget that of programs or just whatever that aren't pulling their weight, that just aren't working. I'm not so sure the Meals on Wheels thing is the right thing to cut. I'm not so sure that increasing the military budget is the way to go, considering where the United States military is right now.
Yeah, three times more than the second most funded military in the
exactly. Not to mention.
Now, granted, one thing I will say, and I'm somebody that says that a lot, the whole our government, we spend 3 times more on our military than China does. and they're number 2. Well, with that being said, we actually pay our soldiers. that gets expensive. We actually pay them and give them benefits and do things for our veterans. We all think we don't do enough for our veterans, but try being a veteran in China, okay?
Oh, sure,
that would suck.
But then you also look and see we have like what? How many aircraft carriers does China have? 2, and the
Right.
United States has what, like 11?
Right. No, and that's
so.
And that's cool. And hey, we need to have more than them. We should have more than them. I'm glad we do.
I'm glad we do too.
But yeah, I don't know that we need to continually increase it. The thing is,
And do we need? I mean, and look, is a better method here going to the military and saying, hey, or going to the Navy and saying, hey, you want another battleship? Find it in the budget that you have right now
right?
to create money to pay for that next battleship that you guys want.
Exactly.
Or going to the Army, hey, you want 500 more Humvees? Then find it within your budget to create more 500 more Humvees for yourself.
You can find it however you want. The only thing you're not allowed to do is cut the pay of your soldiers.
Exactly. I mean, is it necessary to go and add the money that you're doing while cutting all these other
and the reason for
programs?
that is a plague. It's a plague in corporate America, but it's also a plague. Well, corporate, not corporate America, corporate entities. It's a plague there, but it's a much worse and enormous plague in government. This idea that you give them a certain amount of money, and because the money is so allocated and so wrapped in bureaucratic red tape and BS and nonsense that they have to spend it. I mean, you have instances of people in the military all over the place saying, oh crap, we have this money. If we don't spend it on something right now, even on something we don't need right now, then they'll see that we didn't spend it. They'll see that we are frugal. They'll see that we didn't spend it, and then they won't give it to us next year, and we're screwed. That's the idea. That's the problem in essence, is that you don't just allocate them X, and then say, hey, do the right thing with X amount of money. You say you get Y for this, you get Z for this, you get N for this, you get R for this. And if you want something else, well, you have to come talk to us about it. And then you have the military, like you said, Adam, saying, well, we don't have enough aircraft carriers. We don't have enough Humvees. We don't have enough body armor for our troops. Oh my God, we're sending our troops out there without body armor? Well, yeah, we should be. The money's there if you want it to be. It truly is. The money is there if they spend it properly. And to me, I don't know. I think you cut the military. Not a lot. Just a little bit. Cut everything. Cut every single program. Every single one of them. And see what happens. Go across the board. Say, hey, we're cutting 10% out of everything. If that means that Meals on Wheels falls apart, well, that sucks. But truth is, Meals on Wheels should never have been funded by the government. Ever. Things like that should be funded by churches, by private citizens, by volunteers. And there are a lot of volunteers for Meals on Wheels. A lot of people in my family do it. It's an awesome thing. Awesome thing. But it should be volunteers, private donations. The question to me when I hear that is, so many of our citizens need Meals on Wheels. What can the government do about that? Stop stealing their hard-earned money through taxes. That's what you could do about it. And then maybe they could afford their own meals. Or then maybe more people could have money to give to charities, and then you get to pick which charity you want to give it to. What a crazy idea that is. Like, you actually get your money, and then you get to give it to other things. Because whenever I go on a taxation is theft rant, somebody tells me that, oh, I'd be happy if they raised taxes. It wouldn't bother me if they raised taxes and fix the infrastructure. Okay, great. Let's not have taxes. And then you start an infrastructure fund, and you put as much of your money as you can or want to give, and then you even get to pick what it goes to. What an insane concept. You can or want to give, and then you even
Go.
Oh, we're playing back. Wow, that's what I sound like, huh? I sound weird. But I'm really though that's the entire basis behind the idea that that taxation is theft. In other words, is that it's something that you believe by saying that you think we should raise taxes or you think income tax is a great idea. That in essence is you saying, I think I have the right to take your money and then use it on something. I'm not going to tell you what. I'm not going to tell you where. We're going to use it on something. And then we're all going to complain that the money's not being allocated properly, that it's not being used properly. And this is the idea behind Obamacare or Trump care. This idea that the government needs to take it from you. Because if I don't want Obamacare or Trump care, either one of them, this part stayed the same, by the way, because it's still compulsory, still absolutely mandatory to have these things, because you can't have universal health care without forcing people that don't need it and don't want it to pay for it for other people. If I decide that I don't want it, what's the end game? What eventually happens? You make me pay it. What if I still don't pay it? Eventually, armed people come to your house and take you away in chains. That is eventually what happens. That is the end game. I know that hasn't happened yet with Obamacare, but that is the threat. That is the threat of not paying your taxes, is that somebody will come to your door with guns, put you in handcuffs, and take you away.
We just have to pay a penalty right now for not.
But what if you don't pay the penalty?
Well, then.
Eventually, somebody comes to your house.
Eventually, well,
with guns.
Well, yeah, then it becomes a tax issue. That's what it becomes.
Right. Eventually, somebody comes to your house with a gun and takes you away in handcuffs. That's what illegal means. That they have the right to do that. No, but it's just a penalty. You're better off paying the penalty. Well, of course you're better off paying the penalty, but you shouldn't have to pay the penalty. What if I don't want to pay the penalty? What if I don't want to pay for the first place? What if I don't want to let somebody come to my house with a gun and take me away in handcuffs? Well, then I guess they get to shoot me then. Because I didn't want to pay for your health care. But that makes me a mean person, though, too. That's the other.
Is this?
That's the other fallacy.
Is this tinfoil conservative hat, Josh?
No, this is not. This is not conservative at all. This is liberty loving. This is liberty loving. No tinfoil hat. I'm speaking the truth. There's no conspiracy here. There's no hidden conspiracy anyway. Many people are conspiring for this, but it's not a hidden conspiracy. This is me showing you once again that taxation is theft. Whether it's taxation in the form of Obamacare or Trump care or whatever other one you want to throw out there.
Do you have your "Don't Tread on Me" shirt on?
I don't. I do not have my "Don't Tread on Me" shirt on underneath this. I should. I should have. I should get the entire the "Don't Tread on Me," the Marauds. You seen that shirt?
Yeah. Which one's the one with the snake? I know that.
Yeah, that's "Don't Tread on Me."
I know that is, but don't they have one that's not coiled though? A snake that's not coiled. I thought
the actual flag with the "Don't Tread on Me" is the uncoiled snake. The coiled snake is kind of more
is that the
symbolic
okay
that the libertarians like me just rally behind. And everyone calls us an anarchist.
You're gonna go throw the tea in the harbor again?
I might. Maybe I'll throw my healthcare in the harbor.
You know what? I might join him because I think tea sucks. So
yeah,
I'll do it just because I don't like tea.
Right. That'd be great. Have a second Boston Tea Party and Adam's just there.
Like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah,
oh yeah, you hate Obamacare too?
Like taxation is theft. Adam's like, I don't know about that, but tea sucks. Hey, are we doing news section still? I know we should talk about this off air, but are we just doing our last call?
No, we're doing the news section.
Okay, cool. Want to rock that out?
Well, I want one more thing.
Oh, no,
from
no,
you.
jump in,
One
jump
more
in.
thing from you.
Sure, what's up?
Because it was a big week this past week when it comes to Trump and approval ratings, and what I said about him and his actions and everything around him kind of affecting his approval ratings, which are very real.
Mm-hmm.
And we know it's very real because of what James Comey, the FBI director, said in front of, the House Intelligence Committee. I believe that's the committee he said in front of Monday, about there being an ongoing FBI investigation into Trump's campaign, and
That's impossible.
its
You
ties to Russia.
You can't be president and be under FBI investigation.
His campaign is, though.
I'm just kidding. That's what all the conservatives and Trumpkin said about Hillary Clinton while he was running for president.
Okay.
Is that you can't be president of the United States and be under FBI investigation. Except that you can.
We've had Carter Page, we've had Paul Manafort, who's more questions are being asked about him now. We had Jared Kushner, we had Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General now, Roger Stone. I know I'm missing Rex Tillerson's connections to Vladimir Putin himself. The banks, the steel companies that are building the Dakota pipeline. They're all there. Is that do you think something like that could be affecting his approval ratings as well?
I don't know. There's so much conjecturing from both political parties, from both political tribes all the time that I really think that, no doubt a lot of people just loathe Donald Trump. They just hate him. They hate him with a passion. I think we'd probably be in the exact same boat if Hillary was elected. Just so many people hate her. Is there anything to any of this FBI stuff? I don't know. I almost feel like the president should always be under FBI investigation. We should always be searching for the truth to find. If you insist on having this alphabet soup catastrophe of different agencies all the time, they might as well be doing something. He's the people's president. We should always be looking into everything he does. Like some of those guys you named, I like some of them. I dislike some of them. I think some of them are good men. I think some of them aren't. But yeah, I think the way the media presents Donald Trump definitely has something to do with his approval rating. I think people hear this stuff and definitely want out. But is it?
As far as the Russia thing
really
goes,
specifics though.
As far as the Russia thing goes, especially from this past week, that's not the media making that presentation. That was the FBI director making that presentation.
No, but honestly, to answer your question, I guess I would say no. I don't actually think it has.
Okay.
I think it makes people who disliked Trump anyway dislike him more. But I don't think it's changing the minds of people that would normally like Donald Trump.
And you know what? To me, that's amazing, because supposedly these are a bunch of liberty-loving people, patriots,
right?
American patriots that are all for Donald Trump. Yet you connect the dots here with him and his ties to Russia. What would Ronald Reagan say?
Right.
What would Ronald
agree with
Reagan
you.
say at this point in time right now if the GOP president, the Republican president, is sitting here having very real ties to Russia?
Right. And hey,
Yet it's brushed off.
there's nothing libertarian. You say liberty loving. I agree with that. To me, they go hand in hand. But there's nothing libertarian about Donald Trump. That doesn't mean that he's a terrible person necessarily. It doesn't mean that he won't be a good president. He won't be the first president that, if he were to do a good job, he won't be the first successful president who did not have a libertarian bone in their body. But Donald Trump is a populist. He is a staunch populist. He may not even really know exactly what that word means. That maybe isn't how he would define himself. But he's a populist and a nationalist. It's okay. That doesn't mean he's evil. But he is, though, he is both of those things. So
It was like the correlation you made when you called Bernie Sanders a socialist.
Exactly. Or when I called Barack Obama a socialist, and everyone said, "Oh my God, Josh just called Barack Obama a socialist," and then Bernie Sanders comes out and says, "Yeah, no, I'm a socialist." I'm like, oops. Yeah, that's because they're socialists. Because those people on the left with D's behind their name are socialists. Bernie Sanders is a communist, actually, but that's fine. It's okay.
I love it. Am I a socialist, Josh?
Yes, you
Okay,
are a
thank you.
socialist. Absolutely, you are. It's okay. It's all right. Wear it like a badge of honor, son. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Be a socialist. It's cool.
I can't wait till I'm the only socialist at this tea party thing.
Yeah, no, it'll be cool. It'll be neat.
I love it.
Yeah,
because I hate tea. Throw coffee in there too for a lot amount.
I mean, calling someone a communist isn't necessarily saying they're Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin didn't kill 8 million Russian peasants because he was a communist. He killed 8 million Russian peasants because he was a genocidal maniac. He was a freak. He was a terrible, terrible person. And he was extremely power hungry. And he killed a whole lot of people. He was evil. There's a special place in hell for Joseph Stalin. But he didn't do that because he's a communist. I mean, communism can lead to that. Extreme and radical views tend to lead to extreme and radical people.
Extreme
But-
and radicalism in any sense can lead to
Sure,
bad things.
absolutely. Just like Adolf Hitler didn't kill 6 million Jews because he was a fascist. Calling somebody a fascist isn't calling him Adolf Hitler. I can't stand it when people compare everyone to Adolf Hitler. There's only one Adolf Hitler. It's a ridiculous comparison. He didn't kill 6 million Jews because he was a fascist. He killed them because he was a racist, genocidal maniac. In fact, Adolf Hitler wasn't a fascist, just in case people were wondering if they don't feel like picking up one of those history books for themselves. Adolf Hitler was a National Socialist. He was a Nazi. He had fascist tendencies, but when you discuss the true rise of fascism that time, Adolf Hitler wasn't really part of that. He had ties to it, but Franco, a fascist. Mussolini, a fascist. Hirohito, a fascist. These guys were fascists. Hitler was just nuts. Hitler was crazy. He was evil is what he was. Actually, crazy isn't really even the right word. He was evil. When you say you're a National Socialist, that's kind of like saying, I'm not quite a fascist and I'm not quite a communist, but I'm a lot more evil than all of them put together. You know, that's what a Nazi was.
That's kind of crazy, isn't it? I mean, nationalist socialists. So is that kind of taken something from both sides there?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So like when you ever see that Simpsons episode where McBain was fighting communist Nazis?
Yeah, I mean, there's something to that.
Oh man.
I mean, the Nazis had a lot of communist type tendencies, some fascist type tendencies too. Mostly, Adolf Hitler and the Nazis were just totalitarian, evil, terrible people who did evil, terrible things. But trying to link them to an amoral philosophy or ideology is kind of wrong. And if you're out there saying that Donald Trump is just like Adolf Hitler, or if you were out there for the last 8 years saying that Barack Obama was just like Adolf Hitler, you don't have to like those people. In fact, you can loathe those people if you wish, but I promise you, they're not like Adolf Hitler.
I'm not calling Donald Trump Adolf Hitler, but I will call him a fascist.
I don't actually have a problem with that. I honestly don't. I don't have a problem with people calling Obama a communist, and I don't have a problem with people calling Donald Trump a fascist. You could make some really good comparisons to Donald Trump to Francesco Franco, to Benito Mussolini. Actually, I mean, you can make some really good comparisons to them. But you easily can do that. Got a news section?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Unless you had something else.
Is it around the empire?
It is. It's around the empire.
There we go.
It's around the empire with Adam.
All right, let's see what we have here to kick things off. You want to go with a little bit of science newsy stuff?
Sure. If you don't have anything about hot teachers, then yeah, let's do some science.
I have
newsies.
nothing about hot teachers.
Okay, yeah, then let's do that.
Sticking with this whole Donald Trump thing, Donald Trump signs NASA bill with plan for a crewed mission to Mars. This includes, how much does he spend here? President Donald Trump has signed into a law bill that adds exploration to Mars as a NASA goal. The new law also authorizes $19.5 billion in space agency funding for the 2018 budget year, which starts October 1st. Trump recently sent Congress a budget proposal that authorizes $19.1 billion for the space agency next year, down slightly from the current year. So,
I'm all for it.
they're not saying that they're going to reach Mars within Trump's presidency.
They should.
Or even if he does get elected to a second term. Right now, I believe they're looking towards 2030 as far as NASA reaching Mars.
I'm all for crewed mission to Mars. All for it. I think we should have done it 10 years ago. I truly believe that. I really am all for a crewed mission to Mars. Let's do what we can. Let's give it a shot. Let's see if we can get there. As I'm sure people have heard, the phone that we are broadcasting on Facebook Live right now has more computing power than every computer on the space shuttle that went to the moon. More computing power in your phone, the phone in your back pocket, or the phone you're watching us on right now.
Does space shuttle ever go to the moon? I'm getting technical with you now. Or was it just
I don't know. I might be using the wrong terminology.
Or was it just the rockets? I don't think I don't know if the space shuttle ever.
I don't know. We went to the moon. We did go 5 or 6 times, right?
Yeah, I don't know if the space shuttle was ever. I don't know if the space shuttle was ever.
The initial the John Glenn Buzz Aldrin.
We kind of sad to see the space shuttle go.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it seemed like such. I mean, they had the. Well, I guess there was the Challenger, and then there was Columbia.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like they could have improved on it, though, right? Instead of scrapping it all together.
Yeah, I mean, Atlantis and Discovery, those never crashed. Those are rocking it.
And there was Endeavor too.
Endeavor, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why I'm all for it. Listen, it's dangerous. It's a tragedy when we lose them, but they're also heroes when they don't. That's why they're heroes when they make it to the moon, because it's so dangerous.
Is $19.1 billion towards space exploration, though?
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Part of a conservative budget, though.
I don't care if it's conservative. I'm not conservative when it comes to
space.
I'm not. No, not well. You know me. I mean, you say I'm a conservative person.
You're a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah, no, but when you say I'm a conservative person, I don't disagree with you, because I think aspects of my life are like that. But politically and ideologically, I'm not conservative. I'm not. I'm libertarian. I don't sign up for that, and I know it goes against the libertarian ideals. I'm a very small government guy, but I want to go to Mars. I want to go to the moon. I'm really happy that there were people in Portugal and Spain and the Netherlands in the 1400s who said, I don't care how much it costs. I don't care how dangerous it is. If there's a all water route to India, by God, we're gonna find it. Let's put some dudes in boats and make it happen.
All right, what Star Wars ship are you using? It could be a one-manner. It could be the Superstar Destroyer. What do you want? What do you want to see the United States make as their? If you could pick one of those as the next ship that takes a person into space.
God, that is such a good question. That is such a good question.
Are you doing a TIE fighter? Are you doing the X-Wing? What are you doing?
I mean, TIE fighter is a short-range fighter, so you don't really want to go with that. I mean, off the top of your head, you immediately want to say the Millennium Falcon, but that's a bad idea. I mean, that's a bad idea. That's a converted cargo ship, and obviously you've seen the unreliability problems that
you don't want to have them banging.
Right. I mean, the Millennium Falcon is the ship I want to be cruising around in space, but that's like what kind of car do I want? I want a 69 Mustang. Souped up big time. But, is that really the best car to drive cross country in? No, it's really not. They have cars that are a lot more comfortable, a lot more reliable, a lot better, but still I don't want
Millennium
those.
Falcon looks pretty comfortable.
Oh no, it does. Yeah, no,
spacious
fun to drive. Yeah, for sure. But I'm thinking the Imperial Shuttle.
Oh, okay.
The Imperial Shuttle is what you're going to want to load up. There's plenty of room for crew. It's comfortable. Yeah, I know they didn't have Wookiees in mind when they made it. So if you're like real tall, or that you're probably going to be out on this particular mission. But there's not that many 7-foot tall astronauts. So I'm thinking Imperial Shuttle, a lot of cargo room.
Could call one of them Tideria.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that would be my thing. If I was going to the moon myself or to Mars myself, I'd want an A-wing. For sure. I'm a little guy. I don't need a ton of room. You got speed, you got reliability, you still have shields too.
What about a Naboo starfighter?
Naboo starfighter, maybe for like cruising around, but what you want is like the Naboo shuttle. That's what I figure like Elon Musk would make.
Okay.
Because, it's flashy. It still gets the job done, but it's a little flashier.
Is the starfighter the one that
it's the
Obi-Wan?
yellow one.
Is the star? Oh, it's the yellow one. Which was
Is
the one
the
that,
Naboo starfighter is the yellow one?
Yeah, which one is the one that Obi-Wan took to?
Oh, that's a Jedi starfighter.
No, the one that they took to the lava planet. What's the lava planet called again?
Oh, Mustafar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a different Naboo.
Okay.
A Naboo shuttle. Yeah. They're all kind of like the Naboo. They're shiny. They're pretty. They're very luxurious inside. If you were a multi-billionaire making a ship,
You know what?
Shuttle.
If any president though, I will give Donald Trump. If any president's gonna do something outrageous as far as having like gold shuttles and stuff,
Right.
it's gonna be Donald Trump's.
That'd be cool. Be neat. Hey, I mean, do it in style, I guess.
Sticking with the whole science thing here, a sea turtle died of blood poisoning after swallowing coins. Nicknamed Om Sin, which means piggy bank in Thai, the 25-year-old turtle died after undergoing an operation to remove 915 individual metal coins from its stomach, and she ended up dying of blood poisoning. So
it's a bummer.
Yeah, man, that sucks.
She wouldn't have died if she was swallowing Bitcoin.
You're swallowing what?
Bitcoin.
What's that?
Wave of the future, man.
I don't.
You know about Bitcoin?
No, I don't.
Yeah, we don't have time to talk about Bitcoin.
I think I've heard of it before.
It's like the currency that has no national link.
Oh, I know. Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
All digital.
I know what you're talking about.
Libertarian's dream. It's a way to live off the grid, but nobody can afford it, so it doesn't matter.
Disney could be facing a pretty big lawsuit on their hands. Apparently, according to Variety, they're accused of stealing Zootopia from screenwriter Gary Goldman. Now, why this is such a big deal is because Zootopia made more than $1 billion in theaters, won Oscar for Best Animation, and
stole it as in how he like the screenplay or the idea,
it looks
intellectual
like,
property.
It looks like a lot of different things here. As far as characters too, here's a picture of some of the similarities between the characters that people are seeing.
Yeah. If that's legit, it definitely seems like there's some. There's some similarities. If that's assuming that's legit.
You know what though?
We read it on the internet, so it's got to be true.
It's got to be true. Yep. Again, you know what? It's Disney. How much are they going to pay these people off to go away?
Right.
Isn't that how it always is when it comes to something like this?
Right. My kids loved that movie.
I've never seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
Let's see. Space Jam soundtrack is getting reissued on vinyl. Did you know the Space Jam website, the original website, is still up?
Really?
Yeah. If you go to spacejam.com, it is still up there. The soundtrack includes tracks from R. Kelly, Coolio, and Salt and Pepper.
Salt and Peppa.
Peppa, excuse me. I said the white person version.
Yeah, you did.
Sorry about that. And will be released on Record Store Day, April 22nd. I know Josh is going to be first in line to pick that up.
Oh, I'd like it on vinyl. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, well, no,
Big vinyl fan. Who's the third member of Salt and Peppa?
Spinderella.
Yes.
See,
Nailed it.
I redeemed myself.
You did. You nailed it. Good work, man. I'm proud
Thank
of
you.
you.
Salt and Peppa.
Salt and Peppa and
Spinderella.
Spinderella.
They didn't include her,
Yeah, it's crap.
isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
she
they
was
could've-
the DJ. You know?
I know.
They're the rappers. She's the DJ.
Yeah, but they could have.
As our opening song. We actually don't play that part of the song. That's part of the chorus of our opening song that we've been playing for the last couple weeks. Is that's the chorus? Is the I'm the rapper, he's the DJ. Pretty sweet, man. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, and it was all recorded right here in the studio too.
Absolutely.
Let's see. One of the worst singers in the world, Lorde, promises so much cool stuff is on the way, which I would think is a lie in and of itself when you're talking about Lorde. I can't believe this. I can't believe she won Best Rock Video at the MTV Music Awards a couple of years ago, which I think just goes to show that the MTV Music Awards need to be probably canceled, considering they have their categories mixed up a little bit here.
You know, I don't like to call for the canceling of anything. If somebody's enjoying it out there, then I guess that's fine. But I'm doing everything I can personally to get it canceled by not watching it or not paying a shred of attention to it for the last decade. So I feel like if people out there do want it canceled or want it gone, I can proudly say that I've done my part and not giving a shit about it for at least 10 years. No, 15 years. 15 years, at least.
Yep, fans are in a frenzy after the Kiwi singer announced that upcoming music sounds like nothing previously heard in the best
well, then maybe
way.
it's good.
Let's see. Do we have anything else here? No. Oh, Power Ranger movie comes out this week.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
And I was cycling through this, Josh, and I can't believe how many different fucking Power Ranger versions there have been over the years.
I know.
Like,
I can't keep track of them.
The original one came out in 1995, I think.
No, it had to be before that. 93, I'm thinking. 92 or 93.
No, you're right. 93.
Yeah.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. 93,
I was in 8th grade.
93 to 95. Do you remember what the second installment of the Power Rangers were?
I
What they were called?
I don't.
Power Rangers Zeo. 1996.
That was the second one?
That was the second version.
Wow, okay. See, I lost track.
It wasn't the second group of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because there was a second group of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, okay.
But this is just a different brand of Power Rangers.
Oh, okay.
Zeo. Then there was Power Rangers Turbo in 97, Power Rangers in Space in 98, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy in 99, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue in 2000.
Yeah, all these are lost on me.
Power Rangers Time Force in 2001, Wild Force in 2002, Ninja Storm in 2003.
I think I've seen that one.
Dino Thunder in 2004.
See, no, okay, what's weird is these last few you're naming, I had kids then, and like I kind of remember them. You know, like the names sound familiar. I couldn't tell you anything about them, but those ones, the names sound familiar because now I've stopped being a kid and now I have kids, and you know, from like somewhere in between there. They
just go on. Power Rangers SPD in 2005, Mystic Force in 06, Operation Overdrive in 2007, Jungle Fury in 2008.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say all those suck. Only the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are good. The original 5, I liked them bringing in Tommy later, the Green Ranger.
I know
became the White Ranger later.
Yes, right? And he eventually became the leader too.
He did. Okay.
You had a thing for Kimberly too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, totally. Super hot. Super hot. Now, she was on that show Felicity later.
Yes, she was. And Tommy the Green Ranger was on a show too on MTV.
He was a UFC fighter as well.
Yeah, he was. I don't know if he was in UFC, but he was in MMA.
MMA.
I know.
I don't watch them, so that's the same thing to me. MMA, UFC, whatever.
And that's it for Around the Empire.
Right on, right on. We're wrapping up the show now, but we're gonna throw in a new segment that we did, kind of a throwback to what we used to do on the Majors Live way back in the day, because it's been a while. But we used to call it Last Call then. Don't really know what we're calling it.
We'll call it Last Call now if you want.
We could call it Last Call. We could call it, I don't know. I was trying to think of something with X. Extraction. No, that's dumb. Doesn't matter. Maybe next week we'll have a different name. But for now, Last Call. You want to go first? You
No,
want to do the
go-
first last call?
No,
or-
you go ahead, sir.
All right. All right. My last call this week, I just want to call out a guy who I think is a real jerk. I don't know his name or anything. But if anybody watched the Northwestern game, I'm drawing a blank here. Who did they lose to? The top seed?
Northwestern lost to who did they Northwestern lose?
Oh my
lose
god,
to?
I feel stupid. What's Did they lose to Gonzaga?
Lose to Gonzaga?
Yes, they lost to Gonzaga. Okay. I just couldn't quit. Yeah, of course. Yeah, they definitely lost to Gonzaga.
Yes, they did.
Okay, the Northwestern Gonzaga game, very close. Everybody's calling out, the refs. The refs screwed up big time. NCAA screwed up big time. They gave their apology, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about that. If anyone watched the game, you saw that there was this kid that they kept showing over and over again. He's cheering, he's going nuts, he's flipping out, he's losing his mind, he's screaming. It's kind of fun, he's just into it. He's all decked out in the Northwestern gear, and he's crying at one point. So they show this kid over and over again. They show him crying at one point, which is bad enough. Then, towards the end of the game, this jerk cameraman keeps going to the kid over and over and over again. And I just thought it was shitty. I thought it really sucked that you were going to this kid and just showing this kid crying. I get that he's crying. It sucks, man. It's his team. He was into him all year, And they just keep going to this kid and watching this kid cry his eyes out on national television over and over again. Catching it once, catching in the act is one thing, but keeping going back to the kid over and over again. I thought it was crap. I thought it was really shitty that this cameraman did this over and over again. And I think he's a jerk. I think somebody should call him out for it, so it's going to be me. I just thought it was crappy that they kept going to the kid over and over again. I get it at first, but the game's over. The kid's crying with his parents. I mean, come on. That's crappy that you would put that on national television to me. You're embarrassing the kid, and I just don't think that's right.
No, I hear it. I mean, especially when you're dealing with little kids. I mean, I've heard of people suing. I think ESPN actually got sued by them continually showing some guy sleeping
Really?
on a national broadcast, and he's talking about in his lawsuit, embarrassment,
Sure.
and so on and so forth, because the announcers were kind of ripping on him a little bit for
Sure.
falling asleep. And I think it was at a Yankees game, and he was in really really expensive seats.
Right.
And,
Yeah, he probably had a couple of pops before
Yeah.
before the game, and maybe they just weren't entertaining him that day.
Exactly. I'm gonna kind of take two different fronts for my last call here. Who's that one? Who's that up and coming conservative pundit? Is it Tommy Lahren? Is that how you pronounce her name?
Yes, I
Is
don't
it-
know if the pronunciations are, but yeah,
Tommy-
spelled like Tomi almost, Tomi. Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy Lahren. I think that's how you say it. She's on the Blaze, and she was recently suspended by the Blaze for coming out as pro-choice on The View. She said the government shouldn't get involved with my guns, and they shouldn't get involved with my body, which I can respect that, being somebody who's pro-choice myself, and I can get on Glenn Beck and the Blaze for suspending her over something like that, because again, aren't we all about free speech and having an opinion that is yours, and that opinion is hers, and she may not be falling in line with the traditional right view when it comes to abortion and pro-choice and pro-life when it comes to something like that. But I'm going to also call out Tommy Lauren here a little bit too, because it was 3 months ago that she was calling out people who were pro-choice as baby killers on her show. So I don't understand. I guess I'm just having a little bit of trouble seeing where
Yeah, I can see where you're
she
coming from. Was
goes.
she calling him out for the hypocrisy? I mean, well, no, that's your last call. It's all just
No, you could ask me a question.
No, I mean, and was she suspended for the hypocrisy or was she suspended for the View?
I think there was a little bit more to it.
Okay.
I think that that she's on her way out right now at the Blaze, and she's rubbing people the wrong way. I think a lot of it had to do with her referring to conservatives, though, as hypocrites when it comes to them being against abortion. Which I don't even like calling it that. I don't even like saying somebody is for abortion, because for me, I'm not for abortion. I mean, I think abortion should be a last resort for anybody. I just want people to have that choice. But I think she's rubbing people the wrong way at the Blaze right now. I think she's really butting heads with a lot of people there, and that had something to do with her getting suspended, as much as her having that opinion on the View played a role in her getting suspended as well. But like
I don't think it's infringing on someone's. It's definitely not infringing on someone's First Amendment right to, fire them or suspend them for having a view that isn't consistent. And
this is my fight. On the other hand, though, I'm gonna go ahead and call her a hypocrite as well, though, because it was 3 months ago that she was on the Blaze on her TV show calling pro-choice people baby killers right then and there.
It's quite a heel turn in 3 months.
Exactly. So
no, I'm pro-life and I like the Blaze a lot, actually, but it seems crappy. I'm with you. It seems crappy that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I see where you're coming from, Josh, when you come to the pro-choice, or not pro-choice, but free speech thing. Again, there's a difference between that and being thrown in jail for what you said. She's not being thrown in jail for saying she's pro-choice now. She just got suspended from her job. And you're absolutely right. Glenn Beck and the Blaze have every right to suspend her if she isn't falling in line with the Blaze policy when it comes to something like that. It's just really shitty, and it's not. In the optics on it aren't really that good. They're not good at all.
You're right. They have the right to do that, and we have the right to think it's crappy.
Absolutely. And I also have the right to think that Tommy Lauren is a complete hypocrite herself in her thinking, because, like I said, 3 months ago she was calling pro-choice people baby killers. So, anyways, Josh.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Awfully hypocritical for somebody accusing people of being hypocritical. Who on views, you know what I mean? She's calling conservatives hypocritical when. I don't know that the two issues are that linked, but no, I agree with you, Adam. Good one, absolutely good, and that's it. That's all we got for you tonight. So we'll Adam and I will work on not talking during the other person's last call. I was much more guilty than he was, but hey, it was the first night, But hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Whether you tuned in on theempiremedia.com or on Facebook Live, we appreciate you either way. Thank you very much. If you missed it now, download us later. Tune in same time next week for our regular show, and tune in the second Tuesday of next month for our special Moon Landing Conspiracy Deep Issues show. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate it.
Bye for now, everybody.